All right, in this brief video, I'm just going to show you how to graph using the calculator to make what are called quadratic functions. Now, I'm not going to get into what a quadratic function is. It's the start of our next unit. But because I'm not in class today, I wanted to show you how to use the calculator for this. So what we're going to look at is an equation that like this that has negative y equals negative 2x squared. And what we really need to pay attention to is the squared. In previous trimesters, when we graphed like y equals mx plus b, it made a straight line. But when I put something like x squared in, it's going to change the shape of the graph. So let's get right into it because I want to show you how this works. So on, resize this a little bit. All right. So, all right. On your iPad, you're going to pull up either Calculate 84 or either pull up Calculate 84 or open one of the actual red graphing calculators. Okay. So once I have the calculator powered on, I'm going to hit the y equals button in the upper left-hand corner. Okay. So on the calculator right here, I'm going to hit the y equals button. And then I'm going to type the equation, whatever comes after the equal sign. So in this case, it is negative 2x squared. You cannot use the minus button for this. Let me get this out of the way. Let's put it up here. Okay. I cannot use the minus button on the right side. I need to use the negative. So I'm going to type negative 2, and then the X button is right up here next to the alpha key. And then the new button that we're going to use is the squared. So X squared is over here on the side above the button that says log. So I'm going to hit X squared, and then I am ready to go. This next step you're going to do one time. Okay. For today, I just want you to graph when the X numbers are between negative 2 and positive 2, which means I'm going to start at negative 2 and I'm going to go up by 1 every time. So you need to go to what's called the table set. Up here at the top, there's a button that says window. Above it, it says TBL set. So I'm going to hit second. Oops. I'm going to hit second window. I need to actually do it on the iPad. Second window. I'm going to start my table at negative 2. So I'm going to clear that out. I'm going to start at negative 2. And then this second line, it has to be going by ones. Again, you have to do this one time. So hit second window to get to this table setup screen. You're going to start at negative 2 and you're going to go up by ones. Okay, that's the only time I have to do it. Now I'm going to hit the y equals button again. I see negative 2x squared. Now I am going to go to the table. So a reminder, table is above the word graph in blue. So I'm going to click on the second button and then click the graph button. So second graph, and you will see that my table starts at negative 2 and is going up by ones. And then all I am going to do is write down the y coordinates that it gives me. I'm going to, when x is negative 2, y is negative 8. When x is negative 1, y is negative 2. When x is 0, y is 0. Now this is the weird part. When x is positive 1, y is also negative 2. And then when x is 2, y is negative 8. So now if I put these numbers together into an ordered pair, when x is negative 2, y is negative 8. X is negative 1, y is negative 2. X is 0, y is 0. X is positive 1, y is negative 2. And when x is positive 2, y is negative 8. Okay. Now I'm going to put these 5 coordinates on the graph. And this is the last thing that we're going to do. Negative 2 comma negative 8. Just a reminder, because it's been a while since we've graphed, the x coordinate runs side to side, and the y coordinate runs vertically or up and down. So negative 2 comma negative 8. Here's negative 2, and then negative 8 would be, or sorry, this is negative 2 comma 0 to get to negative 2 comma negative 8. I'm going to count down 8 squares, and that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, right there. So negative 2 comma negative 8. Then the next coordinate I have is -1, -2. -1, -2 is right there. 0, 0 is right in the center of the graph. So you might be thinking this is a straight line, but this is where the shape of the graph gets interesting. The next coordinate I have is +1, -2. And +1, -2 is actually right here. So I am not graphing a straight line. I'm graphing a different type of shape altogether. And then finally, +2, -8 is down there. When you connect these points, please do not make like a V-shaped graph. It is not a V-shaped graph. It has a curve to it. So it is more of a U shape. Okay. So I'm going to something like this, make it go flat at the top, and then I'm going to come back down. And I'm going to draw arrows on the end because I could graph more points if I wanted to. Okay. That is what I'm asking you to try to do today, is use the calculator to get the table of values, these numbers right here, and then we are going to graph the coordinates and connect them. So we're going to do the first, we're actually going to do problem number 2 from the assignment right now. So I'm going to show you how to do problem number 2. So you can either go on to Schoology, or you could look in your inbox, because I will email this to you. Okay. I'm going to graph this one because it's a decimal and it's a little weird. So y equals -0.4x squared. Notice the table is also going from -2 to 2, but I need to change my calculator. So on the calculator, I'm going to hit the y equals button. I'm going to clear what I had, and I'm going to type -0.4x squared. -0.4x squared. So again, that is negative button on the bottom, 0.4. X is right here next to the alpha key, and squared is over here on the side. I do not need to do the table setup again. So now I'm just going to hit second and then graph. And now it gives me new numbers to work with. Okay. Now, this is a little tricky because I have decimals, but it's okay. -2 for x is -1.6 for y, and then -1 is -0.4. 0 is still 0. This is -0.4, and then this is -1.6. Now, I'm not going to be super picky. Just do your best with graphing these. -2 for x is right there. -1.6, well, if this is -1 and that's -2, I'm going to be somewhere in the middle here. So again, -2, -1.6. Just put it in between -1 and -2, somewhere like that. And then my next point is -1, -0.4. So -1, -0.4, again, kind of halfway down. Then I have 0, 0, 1, -0.4, and 2, -1.6. So I still get kind of that U-shaped graph, but it's a little bit wider now. It's not quite as steep and tall. It widens out a little bit. Okay. So what I'd like you to try today is watch this video, pause it if you have to, okay, and try to use your calculator to sketch the graphs of these U-shaped graphs. And then tomorrow, or in our next lesson, we will talk about what's it called, why does it work that way, things like that. So thanks for watching.